So what's up guys, so today I want to share my experiences about the Sony A7 III and some vintage lenses. So a year ago my dad gifted me an old camera, and together with that are two lenses. So these are from a company called Minolta. They're kind of popular and they produce like film cameras. So because I'm not using film cameras, I needed lenses from a Sony A7 III, and I couldn't really afford buying all of them, especially with the Zeiss line, because they're not affordable in the first place. So I decided why not just buy an adapter and try and experiment with these lenses that I already have and just be resourceful about them. So what I did is that I found an adapter on eBay. It's very cheap. I think it just costed me around 15 euros. And I just tried it with the Sony A7 III. And first I tried this 70 to 210 millimeter lens. And here are some examples. As you can see, you can really feel or see or notice that it has a certain look to it. So it's like this vintage, it's like this vintage feel to it, like cinematic feel. And also the thing that I really like is that it takes away this camera sharpness that mirrorless camera has naturally. And for me, that's a big plus because I'm a fan of vintage films and also art house films. And from some of you who might also like to watch these films, you can notice that some directors, or most of the directors, use this vintage look technique, and it just looks nostalgic in a way. So second is the 50 millimeters. It's also from Minolta, and I think it's called the MD mount. It has a 1.8 aperture, which really gives this deep or this beautiful depth of field, especially when paired with the Sony A7 III, which has a 35mm sensor, and it just matches beautifully, and it produces this deep depth of field and this beautiful bokehs. So surprisingly, I ended up liking this lenses, and because first of all, they're incredibly cheap. I mean, you could, I think you could find something on eBay. They just cost around or between 15 to 100 euros. So that's not a lot for a lens compared to the Sony E lenses. And you know what I mean. So for example, here I have this 55mm Zeiss lens. And I bought this lens because it produces this sharp images. And it also produces this beautiful bokeh, and yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful lens. But the thing is, as I grew to be a filmmaker, I noticed that I actually don't want to see my videos or my films to look super sharp, because they kind of look like videos instead of films. So instead I want to produce this film-looking videos, which sounds like an irony, but yeah, so like film-looking footages. So I think it's not for everyone, but if you also like this kind of look, so I think it's worth a try. So why you should try it? First of all, as I've said earlier, they're super cheap. In my case, I just got it for free. Got it from my dad, and maybe if your dad or your mom or your grandpa or your grandma or brothers or sisters have like old cameras with lenses in them, maybe you could like try to borrow them and to buy some adapters and try them with your camera. You just got to be resourceful and just see what it can do. So talking about advantages and disadvantages, I think one of the greatest advantages is that it's super cheap. You could also find them on eBay, so I think that's pretty convenient. Let's talk about the disadvantages. I think one of the biggest disadvantages is the manual focus. I mean, it does not bother me, but I think for most of you guys, I think that's a big deal, and I think you should look into that, because if you're a run and gun shooter, I think it's not that convenient to use vintage lenses for your setup, because there are, in some cases, I've been there, there are some situations that you really need to be fast, and your camera and your autofocus needs to be super fast in order to get the footages that you want. So in this case, I wouldn't recommend this lenses if you're a run and gun shooter. So yeah, I think that's just a single disadvantage that I see. So all in all, I think trying them would not be a bad idea at all, because they're cheap and the images that they produce kind of look nice. And for me personally, I think, I just love the results, and I'm still experimenting with them. So this August, I'm actually planning to have a trip around Europe and take my camera with me, just shoot some films or some videos. And also I want to bring my vintage lenses in order to post some more videos about them. So this is all for today, guys, and I hope you find this video helpful in some ways. And if you have questions, just let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, just give it a like, and see you soon.